Okay, it's time for the Premier League. It's week 11. So here we go again. It started with a clash at the Bet365 between struggling Stoke and Claude Puel's Leicester. And it was an entertaining game with both sides on the front foot. Leicester were out of the blocks quickly and their vigour led to the first goal with Ibora thumping home a Mahrez corner. And they nearly made it too when Butland made a fantastic save from Okazaki. But on 39, a great flick pass by Moting to Shakira, and with that beautiful left foot of his, he struck a curling shot inside Schmeichel's right corner. And Stoke were level. After the break, Leicester continued to have the better of things, and Mahrez had a couple of efforts that went close. But Stoke had their moments also, when Shawcross's header forced a good save from Schmeichel. But it was that man Mahrez on the hour who motored into the box and smashed the ball in via a deflection. But Stoke didn't drop their heads, and Hughes again sent on Crouch, who just keeps on scoring goals. How old is he? 36, 37? Anyway, he headed in from a corner to level it up. Both sides searched for a winner, and Vardy nearly got it after a sublime move by the Foxes. But it ended 2 each. Okay, next to the London Stadium. Liverpool were in the capital, and although Bilic had a win and a draw in his last 2 games, the heat was still on. Oxlade-Chamberlain made his first start for Liverpool in the Premier League. The Hammers started brightly, and Ayew hit a post early on, but on 21 minutes a quick breakaway. Mane put in Salah, and the Egyptian wasn't going to miss with the goal gaping. West Ham soon had more issues to worry about as Liverpool went 2 up from a corner. And although Lanzini got one back on 55 minutes, Liverpool quickly regained the 2-goal cushion when Chamberlain caught the Hammers cold and scored after his first effort was beaten away by Hart. A 4th followed. Salah got his second on 75. So, will Bilic survive the international break? Unlikely, as he looked a forlorn figure at the final whistle. Klopp, all smiles after a good week. So, to St Mary's, Southampton entertained Sean Dyche's Burnley, who, believe it or not, have only used 17 players up to now in the league this season. After a dull start, Southampton lit up things with a shot on the half hour, and they continued to have the edge, but Pope, deputising for Heaton, kept Redmond at bay, and early in the second half he denied Yoshida. So as we approached the last 10 minutes, the draw seemed likely, but then Vokes broke the deadline with a cute header, and it was enough for Burnley to grab yet another away win. Okay, to the Liberty. Swansea at home to Brighton. Hardly inspires a thrilling spectacle. And it was the first fixture between them in 9 years. And sure enough, it started slowly. And the opening goal for Brighton was a scruffy effort. A cross from Knockhart hit the knee of Murray, and it rolled in, and it was 1-0 to the Albion. Now, Swansea, how did they react? Well, it was depressingly familiar, and Albion sauntered to the final whistle and got another win. Now, that Chris Hughton seems to have the formula for a very average side, and he's got them into the top half now. To St James's Park, massive support for the Geordies, and they had Bournemouth as the visitors. And Bournemouth, were desperately in need of points and goals. Callum Wilson made his first start for the Cherries in 9 months. But it was Newcastle who started the better and had a goal disallowed after 16 minutes for a dodgy offside call. Anyway, Bournemouth worked their way into the contest, and it was goalless at the break. Into the second half, and the said Wilson missed the sitter early on. But it was clear that Bournemouth were more up for going for the winner. Pugh hit a post, and Defoe tested the keeper, and then, in added time, Cook headed in a corner to snatch the win for Bournemouth. Okay, so to the John Smith Stadium with Huddersfield, 7 games goalless in the last 9, had West Brom in town, who've hardly been prolific in front of goal. Well, it was a pretty dull effort in the first half, but La Parra, he really lighted up the stadium on 44 minutes with a fantastic shot from 35 yards that curled into Foster's left-hand corner. Later, Huddersfield went down to 10, but Albion still didn't react until the dying second, when the Terriers keeper produced 2 saves before the final whistle. So, Huddersfield, 1-0 winners. So to Sunday. Now, we had 4 games this week on Sunday, and the first of them, Spurs at home to Palace. Spurs fresh from that fantastic 3-1 win against Real Madrid on Wednesday. And they shaded the early possession, but Palace always had a few half chances and a rather subdued first half. Kane picked up a knock and struggled, but soon after the second half started, Spurs gave the ball away, and Townsend, playing against his old club, pounced and forced a fine save from Casanegra, who was deputising for the injured Lloris and Vaughan. Okay, Spurs responded well with some nice fluent passing movement, and they forced a number of corners. However, on 56 minutes, Saha broke away after Aurea gave away the ball on the halfway line, and he proceeded to round the keeper and then screw the ball wide with the goal gaping. Shortly after, another great save from Casanegra kept Sacco out. But as often happens with Palace, they went behind when Som scored with a crisp shot into the left-hand corner. Palace kept their tempo up, but Saha was wasteful. Spurs hung on. Now, winning while you're not at your best is what champions do. Could this be Spurs' year? As for Palace, good performance, no points again. Okay, now we're off to the Etihad, and as expected, it was a fast-paced encounter between City and Arsenal. Now, Arsenal did well in the first 15 minutes, but they ain't got a De Bruyne. And guess what? He opened the scoring with a magnificent left foot cross shot right into Czech's bottom left-hand corner. The game was living up to its billing and very pleasant on the eye. And if Sterling's pass to Sane had been accurate, it would surely have been 2-0 for City on 35 minutes. Guardiola had a fit after that miss on the bench, but he didn't need to worry for long, as early into the second half, Sterling tumbled over in the box and Aguero gratefully accepted the penalty kick. And that was 2-0. Okay, now Aguero has now gone to the top of City's all-time goal scorers. Wenger responded with the introduction of Lacazette. Still a mystery why this guy isn't on from the start. And blimey, on 65 minutes, he cracks in a confident shot to pull it back to 2-1. Jesus replaced Aguero and nearly scored within minutes. Czech saving well, but on 74 minutes, Silva is put through on the right and he serves it up on a plate for Jesus, and it's 3-1. Silva looked a touch offside, something for Wenger to moan at. So that was it, 3-1 to City, and still way ahead at the top of the league. Okay, the other London Manchester encounter took place at Stamford Bridge, with Jose Mourinho returning to his old employer. Last season, the Red Devils got thumped 4-0. Anyway, 6 minutes into this match, and a cross from the left to Morata, who was tightly marked by Jones, and the ball flashes off Jones' leg and into the net with De Gea helpless. Fortunately for United, a flag went up and it was disallowed for a push by Morata. Okie dokie. So, right, then, chance for United. Okay, young crosses for Rashford in space. He's 6 yards out, and he heads it over. Wow. Okay, the chances continue to happen, and Batshuayi missed the City. And on 15 minutes, Lukaku tested Courtois with a left foot drive. Chelsea had another couple of chances, but United survived the break. Okay, Chelsea continued to be on top in the second half, and Hazard was looking menacing. And finally, an Azpilicueta cross found Morata in tons of space, and he finished with a delightful header that gave De Gea no chance. So what was United's response? Well, timid at first, and Chelsea continued to look a threat. However, the last 10 minutes United upped the urgency, and Rashford did have a chance on 86 minutes, but Chelsea deservedly got the points. Okay, final fixture now, and it was at Goodison Park with Watford trying to continue their fine run so far. The first half was largely forgettable, but in contrast, the second was really exciting and incident-packed. Okay, a sharp break by the Hornets, and the Brazilian Richarlison was on hand to score the opener. Everton responded and nearly equalised. Thanks to a brave Gomez, it was beaten away, but he ended up with a head knock and had to be replaced in goal. Watford quick on the counter. Around 61 minutes they got their second from a corner. And then a lifeline for Everton. Niasse, on a sub, got a scruffier goal after he outjumped the goalie and the defender and then walked the ball into the net. This signalled a mass assault by Everton to try and snatch a point, and Calvert-Lewin headed in an equaliser, again from a corner. Well, the panic set in for Watford, and as the final whistle approached, a slip in the box by Watford defender, and he took out Lennon, and penalty. Up steps Baines, and he never misses, to convert the penalty. There was still time for some more action, and amazingly, cleverly at the other end, had a gilt-edged chance to level it, and he went over the bar. So Everton had won 3-2. Okay, that's about it for this week. Goal of the week. Well, it's that man La Parra with that drive to get Huddersfield the win. See you in 2 weeks. Next week, international break.